I'm glad you're here, Henry.
What's happening, sir?
Uncle Sir Hanush sent for me. No doubt he wants to give me another ear-bashing about the error of my ways. And he said to bring you too.
Oh, Sakra. That doesn't sound good.
Indeed. I wonder what he wants to lecture me about this time. And you, because you're going with me.
All right, we should get going then, shouldn't we, Sir Hans? The sooner we get it over and done with, the better.
I suppose so. Right away. I put some of my old clothes in a trunk for you. I don't want you making me look bad in front of Hanush. And I see I did the right thing. Jesus, Henry, if you're going to be my companion, you have to look the part.
Thanks, Sir Hans. I'll go and get changed now.
God's...
So, should we go then?
Let's go. And by the way, I'm glad you got dressed up properly. Clothes make the man, and in your case, it's quite a transformation. Come along then.
Well, my ward and his, what shall we say, chaperone.
Uncle.
My lord?
I hope I haven't dragged you away from anything too important.
Not at all, Uncle. We
like
were just...
boozing and whoring, for instance.
Uncle, I can...
Perhaps you were busy, causing mayhem in the middle of the night and beating up my subjects.
No, it wasn't... Henry and I were just...
Henry's as big a fool as you are. But he's not my ward, thank Christ. What the hell do the pair of you think you're doing? There are people in this fiefdom who work from dawn to dusk to put food on their tables and on yours, may I remind you. And then they look at you, Hans, their lord and master, and see a drunken layabout. That fellow you beat up last night was a guard, a new guard on the town watch. And he couldn't report for duty this morning because of his injuries. I had the bailiff here complaining, and could I tell him what I really think about this whole sorry affair? Of course not. That would demean me. And you too. So I had to sit gaping like a stuffed owl and listen to his grievances. Maybe you think because you're the lord here you can get away with anything. But you're sadly mistaken, you blockhead. A lord remains a lord only as long as he commands the loyalty of his subjects. And I'm sure I don't have to tell you the folk here are not exactly enchanted at the prospect of having you in charge. That was the last straw, Capon. One more of your escapades and I'll send you to your mother in Polnar. For all I care, she can dress you up like a wench and marry you off to some Hungarian.
Uncle, that arson... Archibald tried to murder me. What was I to do?
Oh, don't exaggerate. Well, I'm hardly surprised after you molested his girl and humiliated him.
I was only...
Oh,
I'm
don't
so-
whine, for heaven's
sorry.
sake. It's about time you started taking some responsibility. I have a job for you. Maybe that will keep you out of mischief. Sir Milota of Oleshna has turned up here. Do you know him?
Isn't he Sir Bernard's cousin?
He is. He came here with the remnants of his retinue to seek refuge. He's seriously wounded.
What happened to him, sir?
His fortress Oleshna was attacked by one Wulfrin of Camburg. Milota pursued him almost as far as Neuhof and engaged with him. Unfortunately, the skirmish didn't end well for Milota.
Wulflin of Camberg. That name is familiar.
He's kin to the Oleshna lords, too, a cousin of Bernard's and Milota's. Their family affairs are a little complicated. None of my business, of course. I just wish they'd found somewhere else to thrash out their differences.
What do you want us to do, sir?
Go and see Bernard in the courtyard. He got a report that Wulfrin pillaged some other farms around Neuhof, and he's putting a squad together to ride against him. Mind your step, though. It's a family affair, after all. Maybe more to it than meets the eye. The important thing is to get that damn scavenger out of the domain. If possible, without bloodshed. I can't afford to lose any men over this business. Have I made myself clear?
Yes, sir.
Very well, Uncle.
Get to work, then.
I never knew Bernard had kin. He didn't fall out of the sky, did he? Everyone's got kin. Aye, but that he's from a noble family. They've got a fortress and all. They've got plenty, all right. Sir Bernard's father has charged
Greetings.
some estates near
What do you need?
So, what do you think about this?
Old Hanush is right about one thing. It's time to stop chasing wenches and start chasing
He didn't
bandits.
fall out of the sky,
It'll be a bit of
did he?
excitement for a
Everyone's
change.
got kin. Aye, but that he's from a noble family. They've got a fortress and all. They've got plenty, all right. Sir
Excitement?
Bernard's father has
I don't know,
charged
Sir
some
Hans.
estates near
Men will
Coldstream.
die.
Don't be such a wench, Henry. What kind of a life would a knight have if he never crossed swords with a foe? What would he talk about at banquets, eh?
I heard some farmhands were murdered.
You're right.
So did I. There was a raid on
Of
one
course
of the
I heard.
farms nearby. These are
Don't
evil
worry, everything
times.
will be all right. We'll ride there, hack those bastards to pieces, and celebrate with a good drink in the evening.
But Sir Hanush said we should get them out of the fiefdom without
No
bloodshed
wonder.
if we can.
He
And
chased
how
that
else
poor
do you
son
suppose
half
we can do
across
that?
the county.
With diplomacy?
The skirmish didn't end well for
You
him.
can't parley
Lost
with
a lot of
criminals.
men.
That would just damage Uncle's reputation. Every lowlife would think he could rob him without fear of reprisal. Enough talk. Let's mount up. See you later.
Has anyone seen my belt? I can't find it anywhere. If you didn't booze so much, maybe you...
Sir Hanish sent me, Captain. I'm to join your mission. And Sir Hans, too.
Then mount up, youngster, and we'll move out.
Can you teach me how to defend myself better in combat?
Certainly.
I'd like to hone my skills.
First, you have to have some skills to hone.
Well, I'll think it over. I'd like to learn to fight better with an axe.
Certainly.
I'm interested in more advanced techniques.
Wouldn't you rather learn the basics first?
Well, I'll think it over.
Lord Capon, when we get there, I'd like you to hold back.
You can forget about that, Bernard. I'm not going on an outing. Hanish sent me to handle this matter, and handle it I will.
Undoubtedly, Sir Hans. I just meant for your own safety.
I know what you meant. Forget it.
Very well, Your Grace.
Listen, Bernard. About this robber. I heard some rumors.
About his being a relative of mine, Melodas?
Something like that.
We have the same great-grandfather, Urban, Baron of Aleshna. Wolfen belongs to a distant branch of my family, which, well, let's just say they bring no honor to our name.
But I heard Wolfen of Camber was hanged somewhere in Silesia after plundering the estate.
I heard the same, only, well, I'm sure you've heard what they say about the Camberg branch of my family.
That they're cursed. Now, Bernard, don't you think I'm a little old for fairy tales?
Think what you like, but I heard it from my grandfather, and he never paid attention to old wives' tales.
I meant no offense.
Very well. At home, we always spoke in whispers about our Camberg relatives. When Wolfen's father, Wilhelm, came to visit, I'm almost ashamed to say it.
You can rely on my discretion, Captain. Carry on.
Well, the servants were so afraid of him that they went and hid in the barn. Father had them whipped. Even then, they wouldn't go near Wilhelm. They were afraid he cursed them. I couldn't blame them.
Why?
For Wilhelm's face was so badly disfigured, both would cross themselves when they saw him. I was afraid of him myself as a boy.
Was he wounded in war?
No, he was born that way. See, his mother, Countess Barbara of Hogwitz, didn't want to marry Wilhelm's son. Wilhelm. They say the witch cheated her. And instead of getting rid of the child, she put the devil's seed inside her.
Good Lord, dreadful.
Well, Wilhelm carried that with him his whole life. When his own wife was in childbed, he had 7 friars kneeling in her chamber day and night. It didn't stop the rumors, though. When his son, Wolfen, was born, he looked normal enough. Turned out wild as a snake. Right about that. A few years ago, Wolfen went off to Poland, and Wilhelm got worse and worse. He cursed everything, everyone in his path, like mockery of the servants. He was on his deathbed. He sent for a priest, not just to give him the last rites, because he was afraid the devil would come out of him and possess someone else. Then later, Wolfen turned up, even though he was supposed to be dead for years. Wolfen said he was dead. That wouldn't stop the devil's spawn.
Sweet Jesus. It sounds a lot more convincing coming from you than the story
certainly will. Let's go. We have to make camp. Hamlin, we'll take 2 men and come back here later. I won't have Vitus and Cyril left as crow meat.
Yes, Captain.
Hey, Henry's come to see you.
Yeah.
How are you?
Tell me, Captain, how come this wolfling is attacking his own kin?
They say blood's thicker than water, but sometimes I wonder. Look at our king and Sigismund.
So what's the cause of your conflict with wolfling?
Nothing in particular, just that he's a ruffian, a treacherous bastard, and a bandit. No wonder the whole Camber clan is cursed.
And you believe that story?
Depends how you look at it. Wilhelm wasn't a bad man while he was in his right mind, but he was terrifying to look at. I still get shivers down my spine when I think of him. As for Wolfen, word came that he died in Silesia. Then, one day, he appeared from nowhere. There are folk who say death has no power over him.
How do you mean cursed?
Like I said, Wolfen's grandfather married Countess Barbara of Hogwitz. She didn't want to bear his child and went to a witch to get rid of it. Only instead of getting rid of the unborn child, she ended up having 5.
What, all at the same time?
All in one night. But only one of them lived till morning. The youngest, Wilhelm. And his face was disfigured. They say the witch deceived the Countess, and it was Satan himself who impregnated her.
How are you related?
Miloda, Wolfen, and I have the same great-grandfather, Urban, Baron of Oleshna.
What do we do now?
First, we have to find out where those Horsons are holed up. According to the reports, they raided a few farms around here. So someone should go to those places and find out what they can. You should do it, Henry. My men would probably just startle them.
Isn't it dangerous?
About as dangerous as sitting here in the camp.
Yeah, I suppose you're right, sir. Where are the farms they raided?
One is uphill from Neuhof, right by the woods. One here above the woods by the crossroads, directly north from our camp. God be with you. Yeah.
Jesus Christ be praised. How may I serve you?
Captain Bernard sent me. It's about that attack.
Well, they came, took everything they could, and rode off again. I don't know what else I can tell you.
We're trying to catch up with that gang, so I need to hear every detail you can tell me.
What do you want to know?
How many of them were there?
2 or 3. I'm not sure. My head's still in a spin.
What did they take?
Not much. We haven't a pot to piss in, which I told them in no uncertain terms as soon as they came here.
So you're telling me they came here, you told them there was nothing worth taking, and they just rode off again, without further ado?
More or less.
Which way did they go?
I don't know. I wasn't watching. My husband made me hide indoors, and I only saw them through the window.
So your husband was outside?
Yes, he tried to parley with them.
All right, I'll be on my way then.
May the Lord watch over you.
I'm honoured that you should come to me.
Captain Bernard sent me. I'm here about the raid on your farm.
What? I've no idea what you're talking about, friend.
They raided your farm, didn't they?
No. I heard there was some raids hereabouts, but not here.
Your wife just told me the bandits were here.
Oh, I see. Maybe they were here while I was away.
What are you on about? Are you trying to tell me bandits attacked your farm and your wife didn't think to mention it to you?
She can be quite forgetful sometimes.
Enough! What happened here?
All right. They were here. But please understand, we don't want to get into trouble.
Why would you get into trouble?
My wife was at their camp, taking care of a wounded man.
So they threatened you?
They didn't have to. If someone finds them there, they'll soon put 2 and 2 together.
So your wife knows where they're camped?
Unfortunately, yes.
No, it's fortunate she does. We've got a good chance of catching them unawares.
Farewell.
All right, let's put an end to this charade.
What are you talking about?
Your husband told me you know where they're camped, so spit it out. What happened here, and how are you mixed up in it?
They came a few days ago, took a pig and a sack of apples. We put up no resistance. I noticed one of them had an injured leg, so I offered to treat it for him.
Why would you help those cutthroats?
They didn't behave violently towards us, and I thought it would be best to keep them happy. At least they left me some apples.
Go on. What happened then?
They rode off, and I prayed we'd seen the last of them. Only the same evening, they came back again. One of them had been wounded, and they wanted me to take a look at him. They gave me some coin and took me to their camp. And in the morning I came home again.
I understand. They threatened you.
They didn't exactly threaten me. They didn't have to. But if they get away from you, they'll come back and get revenge.
Don't worry. We'll take care of them.
So you know where they're camped? I'd like you to lead me there.
I won't go to their camp, no. But I know of a place where you'll have a good view of it.
That'll do me.
Goodbye. I'm not going any further. If they saw me, I'd be done for. The camp's not far away in this direction.
Thanks. And don't worry. I'll deal with those bastards.
I pray you do.
Looks like I found it. I'd better get back and report to Captain Bernard.
Henry, I'm glad you came. God be with you, lad. What can I do for you? Take care.
I found that encampment.
Ah, I'm glad to hear it. Is it far?
Not really.
How many men did you see?
Around 10.
The same as us. Well, now we'll see if my cousin is really as tough as they say. Otherwise, he'll be swinging tonight from the Rattay ramparts.
Wouldn't it be better to parley with them, sir?
Parley with robbers? You must be out of your mind, lad.
I gave Sir Hanush my word I'd look out for his men, and I intend to keep it. So it's my duty to advise a parley.
You're going to advise me?
You're not seeing straight, Captain. No wonder, since Wolfland's your kin. Please, just grant me one thing. Let me go and parley. I'll find out more, and maybe we can settle everything without losing any men.
You want to parley? Listen, Henry, you can't rely on Wolfland to act honorably. There's every chance you won't come back.
Don't worry. I know it's a risky business, but have you got anyone better for the job?
No, I'm sorry to say I haven't. Wolfland's a conceited bastard. If he knows you come from me, he'll receive you just for a chance to tell me to go to hell. I'll give you a livery with my coat of arms, so it's clear you're my messenger. And you'll have to go unarmed.
Thank you, Captain. I'll do my best.
I hope so. Try and come back in one piece. I don't want to explain to Sir Radzig why I sent his favorite into a robber baron's camp unarmed. Good luck, then.
Hey, you. What do you want?
I'm Captain Bernard's envoy. I'm here to parley.
Why should I trust you?
I'm unarmed. What harm can I do?
Well, that's true, and you are wearing Sir Bernard's colors. I suppose I should take you to Sir Wolfland. But if you try any tricks, you'll regret it, understood?
You have my word.
almost sober again.
Who do we have here? What's your name, boy?
Henry. I'm a messenger from...
I know. From my beloved cousin, Sir Bernard of Aleshna. So, what exactly is your message?
A blood and a bloody flood.
Why do you want to hurt the lords of Aleshna?
That bastard Malota stole villages that belonged to my father. I was in Poland when my father died, and Malota convinced everyone I was dead too.
But you came back though, didn't you?
I came back. But Malota bribed a priest to testify that my father made him a deathbed confession. That bastard swore my father told him he was possessed, and so was his son. Me. So they think I rose from the dead and I'm a warlock. They won't hear my claim.
Rivers of blood and a bloody flood.
That doesn't give you the right to go around plundering Sir Hanish's estates.
Well, I never claimed to be a saint. All in all, I'm as much of a bastard as Malota is, but that doesn't mean I'll leave him in peace.
I heard some interesting tales about you. They say your family is cursed.
So Bernard's been telling those stories again. How my Oleshna cousins do love to gossip.
So your father didn't have...
What? A twisted mouth? Aye. Looked like it was run over by a wagon. And he was born with 4 siblings and none of them lived. True. But they always leave one thing out of that fairy tale.
What's that?
That my grandmother was one of 5 babes and her mother one of 4. That's how it goes in that family. And then that talk of the witch. Pah! My grandma couldn't wait to marry my grandfather and give him children.
What a she-day. I need camp life sure ain't easy.
We offer you safe conduct out of this domain if you leave everything you stole from Sir Hanish's subjects and pay 60 groschen in compensation.
That's a very generous offer. But tell me, why should I accept?
Killing, fighting, never losing, robbing, fucking whores and boozing. Take the women, burn the village, drink, annihilate, and pillage.
Don't you know what's been going on around here recently?
Should I?
Bandits have been on the rampage all over the county. Cutthroats raided a nearby stud farm, and the locals have had enough of it.
No doubt, but I've nothing to do with that.
Try telling them that. On the way here, the captain recruited men from half the county. He intends to make an example of you.
Why me? No doubt you've plenty to choose from.
Because you're the first one who's had the gall not to run. So you'll be the first one they catch, and I'm sure you can imagine what will happen then.
And why warn me? Why parlay at all if there are so many of you?
So Hanish wants to avoid unnecessary bloodshed. He'd be happier if you just moved on somewhere else, so he sent me to bargain with you.
You're saying it wasn't Bernard's idea?
If the captain knew I came here in his colours, he'd flay me alive.
The devil take it. There's nothing here worth pillaging anyway. All right. I accept your offer. Tell your captain we'll move on.
Don't forget to leave the loot and 60 groschen, too.
There's no denying you're a good negotiator, lad. Oh well. No doubt we'll find easier pickings elsewhere. Better run along before Bernard loses patience.
Who's got the stinking feet here? You? Your old lady. You leave my old lady out of it. Smells like a dead horse in here. When was the last time you had a wash?
Sure ain't easy.
All right, princess. I'll have you know a real man's supposed to...
I've just come back from Wolfling, Captain.
And in one piece, I see. That's something at least, but I doubt you achieved anything.
I talked them into moving out. Not only that, but they left all their loot and 70 groschen too, as compensation.
I can hardly believe it. That turned out a lot better than I expected. The coin is for Sir Hanush, I expect.
Naturally.
Well then, take the money and ride to Ratai. In the meantime, we'll break camp and make sure those bastards keep their part of the bargain.
Right, Captain. I'll be on my way.
And Henry, nice work. See you later.
Greetings. What do you need?
I have news from the camp, Sir Hanush.
Speak.
I persuaded Captain Bernard to let me parley with Wolflin.
Bernard agreed. I'm surprised.
So was I. I promised Wolflin safe conduct out of your territory on condition he leave all the loot he took and pay 70 groschen in compensation.
Well done. It will take Bernard a while to get over his disappointment at not being able to get revenge. But the important thing is, we're rid of that troublemaker. I must say, Henry, after all that's happened recently, I'm glad something finally turned out well.
So am I, sir.
But I think you deserve to be rewarded for your efforts.
Thank you, sir.